So first off, let's begin in Benue State, where the state government has raised an alarm over continued killings by herdsmen. The state government says it has recorded more than 5,000 deaths from 2015 to March 2023, at least this time in March. March is not yet over, but so far. In addition to about 2 million of internally displaced persons in the state, it also recorded more than 3,000 new displacements following renewed attacks in parts of the state. And TVC News' Mayowa Okwato tells us more.
Benue State has recorded over 1,000 deaths in 2015, more than 800 deaths in 2016, 43 deaths in 2017. These figures is given by the Executive Secretary of the State Emergency Management Agency when it discloses that out of the 23 local government areas of the state, 18 more than 800 deaths in 2016, 43 deaths in 2017. These figures is given by the Executive Secretary of the State Emergency Management Agency when it discloses that out of the 23 local government areas of the state, 18, including Guma, Way West, Ukum, Logo, Kwande, among others, have been affected.
The total number of deaths since 2015 to date is about 5,138. That is the ones that were recorded. It is in trying to address this concern and also put an end to it that the governor of Benue State, Dr. Samuel Ortom, with the consent of the State Assembly and with the agreement of the people of Benue State, put in place open grazing prohibition and ranches establishment law of 2017.
He said SEMA is drawing the attention of the well-meaning individuals and international community on the humanitarian situation in Benue, and to also say that President Muhammadu Buhari has neglected the IDPs in Benue State.
It is unfortunate that federal government, led by Buhari, has neglected the IDPs in Benue.
He expressed hope that the incoming president will work in Benue State government to return the IDPs back home, and just as he called on the Benue people to vote the PDP in the forthcoming governorship elections to enable it consolidate on its gains on the Ortom's administration. Mayowa Okwato, TVC News, Makodi.
That's the first thrust of our discussions as we open up, talking about the range of these issues on Journalist Hangout Thursday edition. BKO, what do you make about these numbers of deaths attributed to herdsmen attacks in Benue State?
It's been a big problem for some time. And first and foremost, if you have a population of 7.5 million people, and you have more than 2 million IDPs. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. More than 2 million IDPs, and whereas you have the population is just 7.5 million. It makes absolutely no sense for us to allow this to continue. It's only in Konshisha, Ushongo, Vandekia, Oju, and Obi. Those are the only local governments that are not affected by herdsmen killings. Local governments like Guma, Logo, that are reputed to be one of the most fertile in our country, they are constantly under attack. Constantly under attack. The local government of the governor, Guma, many people have fled their homes. Communities deserted. A lot of them are in IDP camps. So there's a big problem of internally displaced persons in Benue that a lot of us do not even appreciate. we think that every time the governor is complaining that, oh, it's because he cannot pay salaries or because he has not worked for the people. But this is a problem that the next administration will inherit. And what we can do that makes sense is to try to put an end to these killings. Because whatever, if we politicize these killings or treat these killings like they do not matter, then no one will be able to say when it will end, because another administration will come, inherit it, and it will remain. Killings by bandits in Zamfara, in Katsina, had been there before Buhari came into office. But because we did not take the right steps to put an end to these killings, Buhari will leave office and killings by bandits will continue, because we are even still reading about fresh killings and all that. Just as we are reading about fresh killings by herdsmen in Benue. In the past, it was suggested that, oh, it's their own people who are killing people, not even herdsmen. But any decent and thinking person will know that that is not true. You know? But there's nothing we do not politicize in our country. So I am really worried. If you look at the figures for some of 2015, for example, 1,177, that's quite high. Then 2021.
Trickle down.
2021, 2,131. You cannot say, for example, this year now, just 3 months, we have already witnessed more than 100 killings. It means that if care is not taken, things will really, really escalate. So I think that the government at the center has to do a lot to put an end to the nonsense that is going on.
All right, let me quickly have your reaction to it. What do you think would be the cause, and where do we go from here?
It's all about economic factor, the economic factors involved. As we've all known, the herdsmen want to push their cows into people's farms. And like BKO said in passing, when you look at that's not central. We are not exploring it in terms of food sustainability for Nigeria. We used to refer to Benue as the food basket of the nation. I remember those days when I go to Abuja or travel on that road. We look forward to their mangoes, the big ones, quite huge. Same thing with the yam.
Absolutely.
Where are they now? You see some yams on the street of Lagos and you feel like it's like yams now have kwashoko. Whereas those areas, the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, for instance, has done a lot of training, put in a lot of seedlings for them. But how do you explore that with all the killings going on? In fact, it doesn't make sense going to the farm. Unfortunately, for those who push out the cows, at some point, they also are going to have nothing to feast on. Is it not when the farmers come out that you'll be able to say you want to push your cows to eat what they have planted? People are not even going to the farms again. And it's quite dangerous for the health of the nation. But we are not looking at it. At some point, it was made to look like it was the governor, that's the state, versus the federal government. That's, at that point, I asked myself, must we get to this point before we resolve this issue? Because when we are going to get a backlash, it's going to be serious. Along that belt, you also have Nasarawa, you have Plateau.
Right.
And we are losing, you go into Taraba, which places that produce good food for the country.
Right.
And these things are happening there.
All right. Well, it's we've set a tone. It is of worrying dimensions, and of course, with time on the show and even beyond this platform, we will continue to talk more and try to get out possible solutions to ending the crisis in Benue State.